Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new series of Live, Love, Lead, which means live your best self, embody unconditional love, and lead the way for others. My name is Natasha Stojanovic, and for those who don't know me, I help those who feel a strong calling in their heart to create a better world, to contribute in greater ways, to literally step into their power, bring their mission out into the world, and live their most magnificent lives. Yes, and today's topic is about moving into 2021. I have received a lot of guidance around 2021, and actually, it's not as much about 2021, but it's always in the now, So it's about what's really important for us right now as we're moving into 2021. And the energies that are around have shifted a lot since, I felt it really strongly since the solar eclipse and the solstice. There was a lot of new energy coming in, and I've had sleepless nights. I was awake till 5 or 6 in the morning, and I've received a lot of guidance and intuition around what's next. And so I'd like to share a little bit about it. And since 2020 was more around moving inward, right? We had the pandemic, we were forced actually to be within, and I know we're partly, especially in the part of the world where I am, experiencing another part or whole lockdown, but it was a lot about looking inward, working through what wasn't aligned, seeing our patterns, working on our patterns. So it was a lot about that, and that was 2020. But the energies have shifted, and that was very much something that was needed for us, because there's this mass awakening going on, and we wouldn't have awakened to the point that we have. We wouldn't have started questioning things as much as we did if everything was going really nice, really well, and why should you change something, right? And so as the energies have shifted, 2021 is more about going forward. It is inviting us to truly step into our power, own our mission, bring our purpose out into the world. And especially if you're listening to this, you're probably some of the people who feel that calling in their heart, right? Whether you identify as a light worker, whether you identify just as, you don't identify as any of that, but you've started experiencing a strong wish to contribute, to make things better, whether that's in your own life or in the world, or both. Usually it's both, because you can't contribute in greater ways to the world if you don't contribute to your own life. And so this is calling us to really start bringing our gifts out. And it might be that we are not 100%, sure about what our gifts are, or what our mission is, or what our purpose is. But there's this calling, this pull, like that I feel like I want to do something, I want to help, I want to support. And another thing that 2021 is going to be about in this transition that we're all in, as we are creating a new way of living, a new way of being with each other, with the earth, a far more sustainable, loving place that we want to live in. And what I'm shown very much is through the pandemic, some of us have, I'm closing my eyes because then the information comes through easier. Through the pandemic, some of us have been using a lot of their time to sit, which was great, to really observe themselves, their lives, allow their triggers to come up, sift through that, work through do their inner work. And some of us are kind of in that state of sitting and waiting for things to happen. Well, there's new energy coming in, now things will change. And what I'm getting is, yes, there is new energy here, but this new energy is not here because it's just coming something from the outside to change things on this world, and then it will be all like heaven on earth. Yes, we can create heaven on earth, but it's about us who are creating it. So this coming year is a lot about starting to create, starting to bring it out, starting to share your gifts, starting, if you are an activist, starting to have new projects. If you're a conscious parent, is like really start living that way you want to live with your children, and so it's about creation, about creating and bringing it out and expressing your purpose. So it's not as much about, stepping out in terms of I'm fighting it, I'm doing things, I need to be active. On the contrary, it's about, hey, what is my passion? Why am I here? What did I come here to bring? Because that is always connected to joy. And then expressing that from your inside out. So it's always starting within and expressing it out. And that's how you will start creating that which you want to create. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Natasha. I can relate with what you're saying, as here in the UK we're back in a lockdown, yes, with no end in sight, and it's really been an invitation to me to embrace the stillness and face the suppressed anxiety which is bringing up. Yes, it does for many of us. It does bring up a lot of the old triggers that are finally ready to leave. And some of us are experiencing that anxiety or anger or whatever our patterns are far more strongly because there is so much more light here. And when you shine the light into a dark room, you don't only see the beautiful furniture, you also see the dust because that room hasn't been used for a long time. And now this light is coming in and shining upon that room, upon us, upon our soul, upon our heart, upon our being. And everything which is not aligned is coming up to the surface, but not because we didn't do enough work. It just wants to be seen, loved, and released. And so a lot of that stuff is coming up for us. And what I also feel in 2020, it's time for us to step beyond our own fears, because some of our fears, especially if we relate to having this calling in our heart, are connected to the fear of being seen, the fear of really stepping up. We read all these things about control and what's going on, and then that triggers something that's really old, really, really old, from eons and lifetimes that we've been through. If you probably come here many times, if you can relate to that. But even if you cannot, you can look at it as a programming in our subconscious mind, because we have seen what happened to Kennedy, to Martin Luther King, what happened to Jeanne d'Arc, what happened to those people who stepped up. And we feel that. I can feel it now as I'm talking. There's so much fear in that collective. And so it's just about it's a new time now. It's not back then. And it's about releasing that through just loving ourselves and being okay with that. But there's going to come a point where our mission is grander than our fear. Where our mission, why we came here right now, I believe it's not a coincidence, I said that before, that we came here exactly at this point of history, of human history, in this mass awakening, and we came here right now to incarnate. This is not a coincidence for me. So there is a reason. We came here because we were like, wow, I want to be there, I want to witness that, I want to do my part, I want to create in that. And so that mission that we're carrying with us is going to be more important at some point than our fear of showing up. And don't stress yourselves about that, because that's not the idea. The idea is that we get to the point where we can we feel that mission so strongly that we start showing up. Yes, work through your fears. Yes, work with somebody. If you feel called to, if it's strong, work with a healer, work with a coach, work with a doctor, whatever it is that you relate to and that works for you, body work, whatever it is, to move through your patterns, your fears, your anxiety, your anger, whatever shows up as a trigger, and say thank you to those triggers because it's so beautiful they come up. And we're finishing 2020, and those triggers won't just disappear in 2021, but as we're working through them, they're going to be less strong because we've done so much work. And they're also going to be, like, as I said, the mission is so much stronger, and also they are here to be released still because we are creating a new paradigm of living. We are creating a new world, literally new earth. It's called in spiritual communities, called New Earth or 5-dimensional Earth or heaven on earth. So that means a world where we live in peace, in love, in connection to each other, to the animal kingdom, to the plants, to the earth, where the hierarchical structures and patriarchal structures are falling apart, where we're building new structures that we don't know yet what they look like exactly. Some of us have ideas and they're working towards it, but it's all kind of emerging, right? And so when we are creating that new earth, we cannot bring our old judgment and judgment of self as much as judgment of other to that new world, right? So we're simultaneously working through our own stuff, healing, releasing, opening our hearts, activating our hearts even more to be and embody and live that unconditional love that we are, and learn to create consciously because we came here to create. And we are creating that new earth by creating, bringing our mission, our purpose more out into the world. And so that's what I'm getting for 2021. I just love it. And it's a lot of energy moving through. And so I'd like to invite you just to, with me, put your hands on your heart, whoever's watching, and just take a few deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth, releasing everything, relaxing your body completely, breathing in, letting go, relaxing your neck and shoulders in particular. Yes. So it's interesting. I just started feeling all that movement and anxiousness and everything at once. That happens when you're empathic. And so I have two announcements. I believe that in 2021 we are going to create that field of love, as I call it. And so I've been guided to change the monthly activations that I do. For those who don't know, I'm doing monthly heart activations. And the January one is going to be all about creating the field of love. So the really like opening, activating our hearts, it's an ongoing process, even more. And then from there, like this connection, I see this vision of connection of all our open hearts with light that's going like a grid around the world. And we're going to create that grid through our intention, through our open hearts, and through our feelings. And so the heart activation in January is going to be all about ourselves and creating it out into the world. So to start that process. And I put the link underneath this video. So if you're interested, check it out and you can subscribe there. And the other announcement is that I've been strongly guided to create a course which is about embodying and bringing out our soul mission. And it's not a marketing course. I've studied marketing, but I'm not the marketing guru. My mission is to help us embody our mission, because if we are our mission, we're bringing it out. We're going to release what's in our way, all our fears of showing up, all our procrastination, the perfectionism, like everything, the stuff that's standing in our way, to really step up and create and bring that purpose out into the world through what we're creating, whether that's a physical product, a painting, whether that's a course, whether that's whatever it is for you, right? And we're going to be working on beliefs, repattern beliefs. So we have the beliefs that support us in what we want to do. And we're going to be working on self-love, on flow. And so it's going to be probably a 6-week journey. I'm just now creating the last bits and pieces and bringing it out then, and I will inform you. But if you're interested in that, please drop me a comment and say yes, please. And so I know I can put you on the list of who's interested. Right. Let me see. There's Rachel. So do you think that decades of chronic illness is divine? That although we learn to see it as wrong, that actually it has created a gift that can be shared? Yes, I do, and I'll tell you more about it in a minute. It's kind of how I feel, that I can help others through the experience I've gone through, even though it has been very painful. Yes, Rachel, I do strongly believe so. I couldn't relate to that when I was much younger, but I remember a very a good psychic telling me once when I was around 20-something, and he told me, you're going through all of these experiences because you are going to share with the world and with others. And they are having this, there's this gift for you. And it took me many years to see the gift. And there was definitely so many gifts in that, in everything I experienced and I went through. And I do truly believe that even if it's decades of chronic illness, if we can let go of that time, our perception of linear time, of, oh, it's been decades, if we can let go of that and we can just go like, okay, where am I now? I'd never be where I am. And I'll tell you one thing, if I wasn't a single mom from pregnancy with almost zero support, like financial, I had some support, luckily, but my mom was far away. My stepfather didn't talk to me, or I didn't talk to him. It was not a good relationship. The father of the child didn't want to even know him. And it's not about telling you my story of how terrible that was, but it was quite challenging, to be honest. And hadn't I experienced all that, I wouldn't have opened my heart, because my son is my greatest gift. He's my greatest teacher every single day, and he's my greatest gift. And I think every mother can say that. But the power that I feel within, and the path that I've taken through being alone and almost ending up in a burnout. I was like this close to a burnout. And like healing all of that and opening my heart and following my purpose, no matter what was going on. That power I would never have had without the experience I had. And I believe that it's the same for you, just as you're writing it is. Yes, I do strongly believe that you can help others through the experience you've gone through. And that you, as the time goes on, that you will discover more and more gifts. And you will shine the light of your consciousness on what you've learned and how much you've grown. And whether that's going to be helping others move through their illnesses, or whether that's going to be something completely different, but all this time has helped you to gather that power and that trust and inner knowing and your guidance and trusting your guidance and everything that developed from there. I don't know what that will be, but whether it's going to be one or the other or anything else, it's going to help you to bring your gifts out. Yes, for sure. I'm 100% sure about that. Yeah. Wow, beautiful. So, if there are no further questions or comments, I would like to strongly invite you to come along and do that heart activation with us I'm envisioning us as a growing community of people who are here to bring that love out into the world, to create that power of love that we want to experience. There's no greater healer than love, by the way, for me, and I mean unconditional love. And so these heart activations really go deep, and I will keep you posted about the course of bringing your mission out into the world. And so I'm wishing you a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful New Year's Eve and a start into 2020 that's full of sparkles and miracles and creations and joy and peace and happiness, no matter what the circumstances. No matter what the circumstances. You have it within you, and we all have it within us. And so let's create what we want to see in the world. Let's be that change. Wishing you the most amazing time, and I'll see you next Tuesday, same time. It's 8 a.m. Pacific, I think 11 a.m. Eastern, and 5 p.m. for Central Europe. Thank you, love you, and have a beautiful time.